Hello guys, welcome to day 12 of HackerRank series of Code Challenge, and today we are going to take a look at inheritance. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is a concept in object-oriented programming, and as the name suggests, it refers to inheriting some properties from one class to the another. So the properties from which it is inherited, from the class which it is inherited is called as the base class, and class which derives those properties is called as the derived class. So let's take a look at the task that we're going to perform. So you are given two classes, person and student, where person is the base class and student is a derived class, and we'll just have to complete the code for the student class. The student class has the following four parameters. The constructor has these parameters: a string called as first name, a string called as last name, an integer called id number, and an integer array or vector of test scores, which will store all the test scores that will be inputted to us, and the name of that vector will be scores. And then we'll have to complete a function called called calculate, which is of the return type character, and then we'll have to return a letter grade according to the value of the average. So the input format is something like this. First will be given the first name, the second will be given the last name, and this is the id number. On the next line will there will be the number of subjects, and on the third line there will be the test scores separated by a space. So there are two subjects and there will be two test scores, and this is the output format. The output format is taken care by the stub code itself, so we don't have to do anything. We'll just have to complete the constructor function and the calculate function in the derived class student. So let's take a look at the main function first. So string first name, last name, id and num scores are declared, and then the input is taken, and a vector called as scores is declared, and all the test scores are stored in this vector. Then an object of student class s is declared, and this is the constructor of student and it will be invoked. So we'll just have to complete this constructor, so the red line here which indicates error will be gone, and that is all that we have to know for now. So let's look at the above stub code. Here the base class person is defined. So these are the protected variables or members: string first name, string last name, and integer called id. And this is the constructor. So it has three parameters: first name, last name, and identification. And first name will be initialized to first name here. So we are initializing, or we are assigning all the values to these protected members. So likewise they are assigned. So id will be assigned to identification, and so on. And this is the derived class which is called as student. So this is the syntax of a derived class. We first write the keyword class, then we write the name of the derived class, which is student, then we write the colon, and then we will, so this is the visibility label. You don't have to know what this does right now, but okay, I'll tell you. So the properties are inherited from this public visibility label. The protected and private visibility label do not have the functionality to be inherited. So all the information that is within this visibility will be inherited by the derived class, and all the members of the base class will be inherited and stored in the public visibility label of the student derived class. Okay, so public is the visibility label, and this is the function that I told you, and then person is the name of the base class. Okay, so this is the syntax, and now we are declaring a vector called as test scores that we'll use later while calculating the grade that we have to give. So let's first complete the constructor. These are the four parameters that we'll have to include. So this is how the constructor works. The name of the constructor is the name of the class itself. So we'll write student, and then in brackets we'll write the four parameters of the constructor function, which are string, first name, string last name, and an integer id, and vector score. Okay, then we'll use the semicolon to access the person base class. So we'll write person, and then we have to assign these values. So that is why we are calling this constructor, and it will assign these values to first name of the base class, last name, and identification. So this is that, and it will take care. So what it will do is, first name will be assigned to first name of the base class, last name will be assigned to last name, and id will be assigned to identification. So that's that. Now we still haven't assigned the vector scores to the vector that we declared in the private visibility label. So let's do that. So test scores will be assigned scores. So the constructor function is taken care of. Now the name of this integer that we are given here will be the same as the name of the parameter in the person base class, because that is what we are going to finally inherit. Okay, so the constructor function is completed. Now let's write the calculate function. Now the calculate function is pretty easy. We just have to write a set of if else function, if else conditions, and it will take care of the grade. So I'm just copy pasting it, and I'll explain you how it works. So this is the declaration definition for function. First we write the return type, which is char, and then we write the function name calculate. So it doesn't take any parameters, so we don't have to worry about that. So first we declare an integer called sum, and we initialized it to 0, and we then uh, took the summation of all the test scores, and to calculate average I declared a double variable called average, and then I took the average by dividing sum by size of the test scores. So if there are 10 subjects, then we'll divide the summation of the scores by 10. So that's how we'll calculate the average. And we are given these this grading scale, and according to that I have written these if else conditions. So if average is greater than or equal to 90, then we'll have to return O, and so on and so forth. So this takes care of the calculate function. Now let's run the code and check if it works. Okay, it's working. So let's submit the code now. Please ignore the mixer sound, that is just my mom cooking some delicious food for me. Alright, so all the test cases have been passed, and I recommend that you read some more about inheritance. So Java T-Point is a good site to for your reference, and you'll have to uh, do some hard work and inherit this concept, because it is a bit difficult to understand. So best of luck with that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.